We are greeted by a scene where the girls are playing pets. But let's be serious, there is domestic violence in the frame, where the author gives us a direct hint that the main character has been kidnapped. A little over a month ago, she could not have imagined that an affair with a hottie would lead her to this position, the position of a huge collar with a chain around her neck. We are thrown into a flashback where we are made aware that the girl is being bullied by her classmates. The girls say insults to the heroine, and she initiates us into her inner thoughts that this happens everywhere she goes. The girl is accused of promiscuity for money, backed up by an attempt to steal the girl's laptop. But like a prince on a white horse, along comes she, Jennifer of Wengerberg, which would be great, but our savior's name is Ren Pingsheng. Ren Pingsheng is interested in what the girl writes, and we are informed that the protagonist is writing her own novel about a serial killer. The black-haired woman shows interest in the heroine's work and promises to help her. This is something that disposes her to her new acquaintance, but our heroine is distracted from the novel, noticing that Ren Pingsheng smells nice. Sitting a little closer, the black-haired woman explains how to improve the heroine's affair, without forgetting to break the social distance by embarrassing the heroine. She doesn't seem to mind. But the scene is interrupted by a message from a friend. The girl has to go to a basketball game. The teacher doesn't dare detain her, as she herself is about to start classes too. After introducing themselves to each other, the ladies go their separate ways. We are introduced to a new character, blue-eyed blonde Wen Rongjun. We are introduced to the fact that the girl is an athlete, a Komsomol member and just a beauty. And we also learn that the very message from her friend was from her. The athlete is already late for the match, but it is important to her presence Jiang Wanshu, writing a message to the girl she leaves, sharing with the reader a desire to confess her feelings to our heroine. The match starts out a bit unlucky, but after seeing that Wanshu kept her word and came to the match to support her friend, things get better. When Rongjun went to take a shower, having first shown us the gift she wants to give to the main character. After bathing, she returns and sees that the main character is being molested by a girl from her team. Having stopped the bullying, our eventual couple is about to leave, and then we realize that the reason for the bullying was banal jealousy, but we are no longer bothered by it, unlike Jiang Wanshu. The atmosphere for the confession was a little spoiled, and when Rongjun decided to defuse the situation over a cup of tea, it seems that now will be what we are waiting for, but the reader is again screwed. Jiang Wanshu's house is watched by collectors, and we find out that her father owes money to some dangerous people. The next thing we see is an adaptation of The Bums Get What They Deserve Me, because when Rongjun doesn't let his lover get hurt. As the scene unfolds, Ren Pingsheng watches with an indifferent gaze. As the law of the genre begins to reign, the friends run and hide at the bus stop. Finally taking a break, when Rongjun wonders what those people were, promising to help solve problems. The main character can't stand it and starts to cry over her feelings. She's worried about dragging her friend into all this. But when Rongjun, stubborn and still insists, taking Jiang by the hand, she was about to confess to her, but a passing bus stifled all and determination left her. The ladies say goodbye, and when Rongjun is left standing in doubt as to whether she did the right thing by backing away, we see a stranger standing at the bus stop, taking pictures from the street of our main character. Indeed, who could it be? A cute street dog stands up for Jiang Wanshu's right to privacy. And our stalker is forced to run away because the heroine heard barking in the street, turned her attention there, but saw only her rescuer. Our heroine's attention is distracted by checking the comments on her novel. The girl emphasizes that her popularity has dropped, and she notices a strange comment. A user who signed Pasek, that is the name of the hero of her work, asks if the author wants to kill when she herself writes about it. Deciding to find out who it is, suddenly the site stops working. The dog starts barking again, and the author piles even more suspense on the readers. Remembering that there is a class tomorrow, Wanshu goes to bed. The main character did not get enough sleep. On top of that, she forgot to charge her phone. On her way to school, the girl remembers a user who wrote on behalf of her character. As she walks past the bus stop, she hears from the utility workers that yesterday's dog was not a yard dog. It belongs to an old loner, but this information quickly leaves her head. Jiang Wanshu is still thinking about that commentator, even on the fumes, until she is distracted by Wen Rongjun, who notices that her friend is hovering in the clouds. Our heroine asks her friend for a power bank, and over casual conversation it turns out that they will have a new teacher. School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. In general, I think you guessed it, their new teacher is our black-haired from the first chapter. As the class begins, and the teacher introduces herself to the students, Wanshu is insanely happy about it. Wanshu stares at her old acquaintance who now teaches, wondering if she remembers her. A roll call begins, during which the main character is asked a question she can't answer, and on this pretext, Ren Pingsheng summons her to his office after class. Reflecting on what happened, Wanshu strolls down the hallway and bumps into, who do you think? That's right, into our hot teacher, turning her skin literally hot because she was carrying boiling water in her hands, and because of the sloppy student now scalded her hands and stomach and is now lying on the floor. The girls immediately went to the nurse's station, but the nurse was not there. The teacher asks our heroine to give her first aid and apply a compress on her own. While Wanshu took the burn remedy, she wondered if she should do it or wait for a specialist. After a little wrinkling, the girl finally begins to treat Ren Pingsheng's burns, noting that she has a very even too good figure and she can't wait to see what she feels like. The teacher shoots down the horny vibe to our heroine, giving her the answer to the very question she had slammed the girl with the other day in class. The ladies had a nice chat, exchanged numbers, and Wanshu ran off to her next class. We are abruptly thrown to the scene of a gruesome crime and introduced to a reporter named Bai Kai. After her brief conversation with a police officer, we are given to understand that this is not the first similar crime, and we learn that apparently there is a serial maniac working in this town. Back in the nice student life, when Rongjin calls out to our heroine expecting to walk home together, but Wanshu is in a hurry and postpones the walk to the next time. On the way, she thinks about what to write to her teacher, but her thoughts are interrupted by the news, where the heroine learns about a recent murder. On top of that, in a general chat with her classmates, someone sent an uncensored picture of the deceased, and Wanshu recognizes him as one of the debt collectors who were stalking her outside the house. She begins to make a moral assessment of whether the dishonest man deserved such a fate. Her thoughts are interrupted by the sudden appearance of Ren Pingsheng, and together they go for tea. In the process, they discuss her novel and the very comment left by the man who signed as the protagonist of Wanshu's work. The couple chatters into the evening, and when Rongjin walks with her friends and notices them sitting together in a coffee shop. After a while, the ladies say goodbye and go home. We are shown some extras discussing a novel we recently read, in which there was exactly the same murder as today, and the author of this work is a certain Parker. Readers are greeted by a new chapter where Wanshu nicely corresponds with the mammy of this Manhua. This is noticed by Wen Rongjin, and we are already beginning to understand that the heroine's friend is jealous of her beloved's new rival, trying to figure out what it was that could hook her. We all think back to the beginning. We're not talking about a cute woman's love relationship here. We're actually reading a psychological thriller. Next, we see the harassment scene again. I condemn it. ... from a bitch we already know. She pushes Vansha down the stairs, and apparently our teacher really is Yennefer, because I still can't explain how she always manages to get out of the bushes like a grand piano on time. The ladies talk about what happened. That bitch broke the heroine's glasses, and on this pretext they leave the school and go get new ones, because Wanshu really needs them, because of her bad eyesight. And so that our heroine does not stumble, Ren Pingsheng takes her by the hand and in the process of talking, learns that Wanshu has moved out of the dormitory because of the bullying of this bad man. The heroine is told in her own style that it's her own fault. Remember, it can never be the victim's fault if this happens. The teacher says it's not her fault, and the blame lies entirely on the shoulders of the one who keeps the heroine from living a normal life by bullying her like that. Adding at the end, he who sows the fruit shall know it for himself. I wouldn't cross wizards, dangerous women, though hot. The heroine has a dream where she throws her abuser off the roof. She shares it with Ren Pingsheng, who suggests she write it into her novel to ease her stress, not forgetting to compliment Wanshu on her new glasses, driving the shy girl to tears. When Rongjin observes this and cannot stand the seething feelings of jealousy inside, calls his girlfriend. What happened next we will see later. We are shown the reporter again, who found out that the last debtor our heroine was in touch with was a debt collector, and Bai Kai goes to the university to have an interview. By great coincidence, she hears Wen Rongjin call out to the person of interest, and the reporter lurks watching. Back to our love triangle, of which only Ren Pingsheng notices a woman standing 10 meters away with a huge camera taking their pictures. Bai Kai draws attention to the fact that the teacher is an unusual person. In addition, deciding that it would be not good to approach like this, walks away. Indeed, taking pictures of people without letting them know is a good thing. There will be no jealousy scene. The girls are already sitting in class and agree to go to lunch at a coffee shop. Wanshu agrees only because the teacher is busy. The girl already has a crush on the blue-eyed brunette. No wonder she saved her from her abuser and bought her nice glasses. It took her a long time to figure it out. By scenic coincidence, right in front of the cafe, they intercept a journalist, shining his badge. The girls agree to an interview, and the three of them are going to eat something to eat. If you shorten their so-called interview, the girls chatted about how the victim was murdered. The method is called a literary murder. Our heroine had the gears in her head stirred, and she finally wondered if it might have something to do with her novel. The journalist reassured the girls. She understands that Wanshu didn't kill anyone. She just feels that she has something to do with her. After leaving her card, Bai Kai left our ladies, who in turn went home. When Rongjin supports her friend by offering to spend time together tomorrow, the protagonist refuses and her companion gets her ass burned. There, in a fit of anger, she resents and then runs away, saying goodbye with a fake smile on her face to her friend. We are thrown back to the two extras discussing the novel, and we as readers have already realized that the one Parker is our beloved Wanshu. These guys also noticed that in the last chapters that appeared in the novel, where a certain girl has fallen in love with a teacher, the author writes as if about herself. The main character woke up thinking about the words of the journalist. At the same moment, Ren Pingsheng wrote to her and offered to go together to an art exhibition. Our heroine was very happy and could not find her place with joy. She made an appointment and continued to pack, thinking about the object of her adoration, unable to decide what to wear. Wanshu wears a dress for the first time. While waiting for her Pingsheng, she is absorbed in her phone and notices that the popularity of her romance has increased. And here she comes, in a black overcoat, with a choker and also with flowers. Not a woman, a dream. After presenting the heroine with flowers, the girls are seated like a teacher and a student. All teachers, after all, give their students flowers and go on a date to the exhibition. The date goes well. Wanshu shares her worries that the killer might be copying her murders from the novel. She has a lot of admirers and admirers in general, but then she meets a bitch she already knows who emits a barb against the woman and leaves. The next day comes. Wanshu routinely goes to classes and draws attention to the fact that today there is more attention to her because of a certain post in the university public forum. Going there, the girl sees that she has been photographed with a teacher and is insulted by both her father and herself. Even though it is now Ren Pingsheng's class, she runs out of the classroom in tears, ignoring her. The poor girl runs hysterically to the dorm the bitch came out. Trying to resolve the issue diplomatically, she asks to have the post removed and wonders what she needs to do to stop the bullying. She replies that Wanshu should leave the university. Unable to stand, our heroine throws herself at her and ends up on the ground. In the meantime, our Ren Pingsheng is watching all this from the window, and she has this bitch's personal file in her hand. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment with your impressions and like this video. It helps a lot in promoting the video and encourages me to release videos more often. See you in the new video.